22nd, and welcome to another episode of Subtrending. Today we have Andrew, Emily, Thomas, and myself. And yeah, any first words?
Still with the normal crew.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm excited again.
You're excited again?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make as many noises this time.
Oh, why?
I might.
Please do. Always feel welcome to do noises.
Keep you guys on the edge of the table. Or edge of your seats. Don't sit on the table.
Yes.
Alright,
are we ready to get right into it?
Yes.
Yeah.
News.
Okay, first thing that we're going to talk about, and I've read like one of the books. Thomas has read the whole series, I'm pretty sure.
I haven't read The Wind Through the Keyhole, which is like 4.5, but I read the main entries.
Okay, so the Dark Tower series. It finally began filming after years of it being a promised movie that is coming.
The movie that was promised.
The movie that was promised. And we have Idris Elba, is that how you say his name? Or is it Idris? Idris.
You were wrong both times.
Alright, I'm sorry. You know, I actually have not seen any movies that he's been in. I've just heard he's really good.
You saw Jungle Book, right?
No.
Oh, really?
Isn't he in Thor?
Yes.
Oh, he is in Thor!
He's in
I
Thor.
completely forgot about that. Alright, well, so I have. But yeah, he's going to be cast as Roland the Gunslinger. Matthew McConaughey is the Man in Black.
That's my favorite.
Alright.
I mean, I don't know much about the Dark Tower series, but isn't the Man in Black like Randall Flagg from the
Yeah,
the
pretty much.
stand?
Yeah.
Well, I love Randall Flagg, so I'm excited that Matthew McConaughey is
I've only read the first book and I was not impressed by it. I liked the world.
Oh, I forgot that you read The Gunslinger.
Yeah, I liked the world, but I did not like the overall writing style. It was a lot of build up for like very little payoff at
Which
the
is
end.
surprising, because I thought you normally liked Stephen King a decent amount.
I do.
Yeah.
From the little I've read, I also just like gunslingers in general. Like in D&D or any game, give me a gunslinger class. That's what I'm picking.
But the two together.
The first book is really kind of poetic almost.
It
has,
is.
like the first line of the book is like incredibly famous.
Mm.
And that's actually, Stephen King has said, you know, the Man in Black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed is going to be how the movie begins.
Perfect.
But it's not going to necessarily follow strictly the plot of the first book,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is good. I think, and I talked with Emily about this, I'm not going to say anything yet, but I kind of have an idea of where the story could go. A little bit of structure changes between the first three books that would be really good for
Okay.
the series.
Now, are they pulling like a series of unfortunate events where they're combining the first three books into the first movie, or have they said anything?
Oh god, using the phrase doing a series of
Yeah, that's a
unfortunate
terrible
events. That's like,
example.
oh.
I know, and I do it just
Like-
to strike a nerve with Jessica because she hates that movie and cried in the theaters when it came out.
Oh my.
When you were a child.
That
No,
is
okay,
surprising
I
at all.
actually really did. Okay, so I went to the theater to see that movie because, like, growing up, that was one of my favorite kids series. And I went to the theater with my dad. My dad can vouch for this story. And we were sitting there watching it, and then towards like the end of the movie, I just remember having my fist clenched, crying with rage, and then leaving the theater.
Your dad was probably like, what?
I mean,
What
my
did you
parents
do?
were pretty much like that my whole childhood because I was very emotionally invested in movies and games.
Is not a good
Yeah.
word to use.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Someday
was
we'll
not
tell you
great.
about Star Wars.
Anyway, Dark
Yes,
Tower.
back to other things.
You know, I think it is going to be mainly based off of the first three books, but I think they're going to bring in stuff from the later books. There's a lot of really just robust world building in the last couple books,
Mm-hmm.
and it just, the pacing seems kind of weird on that because it just kind of narrow, and the last couple of books it's like boom, all of this stuff that you didn't
Okay.
know about. I've been reading some of the characters that have been cast that are from those last couple books, so I think
Okay.
they're going to bring in that stuff a little earlier, just make it seem a little bit smoother.
That's.
And
I'm excited about it.
I am too.
I don't know much about it, but I'm excited. I mean, generally I like Stephen King stuff, so.
Who's directing it? Do we know?
oh, we should know that.
Anybody like?
We can look it up.
Let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
Okay.
Excuse us while we Google.
Keep conversation.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think that, like I said, it's right up my alley. Like I don't like westerns, which it's not really a western. It's kind of just like that wasteland environment.
Yeah.
But like I said, I love the idea of gunslingers and the mystery of the Man in Black and stuff. So I'm really excited.
Oh yeah.
Nicolaj Arcel and Ron Howard.
Oh, Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ron Howard.
If it's anything like Arrested Development, it'll be good.
I hope it's nothing like Arrested Development.
I hope he
He
voiced it.
also did a A Beautiful Mind and the Da Vinci Code and stuff. So like that's kind of, I'm guessing, the same vein that it'll be in. Not so much dead dove, do not eat.
So we're not gonna see like Buster Bluth flood across the desert and the gunslinger follow.
I was just hoping girl.
I blacked myself.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
But
That's cool. Ron Howard, I mean, did the Da Vinci Code books. Like, he's the one that's like started that project, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that could be good. I wasn't thinking of that.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about in regards to this is there's all these like, and Marvel's really the only one that's done it well. Is the whole shared universe kind of thing.
Mhm.
And this isn't really something I've heard about in regards to the Dark Tower. It's pretty much just they've been in talks for a Dark Tower series. But there is talks about like an It movie coming out soon.
Yep.
There's been talks
Oh, yeah.
about like
who's cast is that? They are
oh, it
making
was
it.
that little kid. He was in.
We just looked
The
it up
Revenant.
last night. We watched The Revenant.
Hopefully, it's not him. It'd be terrible in my
We
opinion.
looked it up. I
But
forget his name.
Yeah.
yeah, the stand they're talking about redoing. It's
That
all
would be
kinds of stuff.
amazing because the stand could be done so much better than the
I
original.
love this stand.
I like it. It's got Patrick from SpongeBob.
I
in
have
it.
to make a confession. I checked out the stand from the library like years ago, and I've never returned it.
Oh, that's fine. I took out the first Wheel of Time book and never returned it. It was literally the first book I ever took out of that library. and
I
never
still
returned
haven't read it. Also,
it. Neither have I. haven't finished the first book. It's been like 4 years. Sorry.
sorry, library.
Anyway. I was actually going to say, when you said Patrick, it's got Patrick from, I almost said SpongeBob as a joke.
No, yeah,
Okay.
He's in it.
Oh,
It's cool.
well.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So are they doing like a Stephen King shared universe kind of thing?
Well, that's kind of what the Dark Tower is. It's these books that he wrote over the majority of his career, and he ties in characters, events, locations from all of these books. Like, one of the characters that comes in the 5th book, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who doesn't want to ruin a book that's 15 years old, but he is actually like a major character in a whole other Stephen King book that came out years before. And there's all these callbacks, like Randall Flagg being the man in black being one of them. And it really could set up for a whole Stephen King shared universe, which I feel like me and like 5 other people will be excited about. But
My mom would be on
You and
there.
my mom and your mom.
Yeah, so there's 3 to 5.
we could all hang out and watch
Yes.
Stephen King.
My mom's all about Stephen King. She has
Yeah.
like 50 Stephen King books.
She actually like got mad at
My
me
mom
because
too.
I had never finished a Stephen King book.
Well, I have a whole bookshelf of them.
I mean, I
if you
finished
want
one now, but like when I first met her mom, she was
I feel like
actually
this is
mad at
really,
me.
this perfectly describes how Stephen King fans are though. It's like either like, oh, I've read one book by him, or it's like, I have a bookshelf.
Yeah.
So, which is how my mom is. She pretty much has a bookshelf of Stephen King books.
She gets
so,
really excited every time a new book comes out.
To be fair, like a lot of them are like 1,000+ page books. It doesn't take a lot to fill up a shelf.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Cool.
one thing I want to touch on really briefly is just the controversy surrounding the casting choice too.
Oh yeah.
Just because, and like we don't have to talk about it for a long time, but it is there, so I feel like fans should be aware that this is a thing.
Yeah.
But on the Gunslinger book, one of the versions at least, and just a lot, I guess historically people thought that the main character would be white, and he has been. I'm trying to think of the word that I'm looking for. Not like gender bent, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like he was
Colorblind casting.
Yes. Okay, exactly. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, I mean, how do we feel about that?
Well, in questions to Thomas and Andrew who have read it, have you read it?
No, I've read the first one. I haven't read the
Is he,
series.
like, do they describe him as a white
I
man?
don't remember.
I don't remember if they specifically
My mom-
do.
See, I always imagined
No.
him just like bandana, big head, like hat, can't see his face, like a D&D character, like over the top clothing. Like that's how I imagined him because I think that's what I like.
I was just gonna say, I feel like most people, I mean, not most people, this is gonna sound, I mean, people tend to imagine people in whatever race they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I think that is definitely.
And I feel like that's why people are so up in arms about it, is because they never thought that the gunslinger could be black. But
Well, it's like in Rue in the Hunger Games when the movie came out,
Yeah.
everybody freaked out. They're like, Rue's not black. If you read the book,
Right.
she's described as being African American,
Yeah.
and everybody just skipped over that description and assumed she was white, and then everybody got mad, and then they were like, no, like read the book.
In my opinion, like first and foremost, and like I've heard that race does come into play in the series later on. I don't know if that's true. People were saying that, and that's why I think it was just a way to justify why they
With one of the characters, it does. It has nothing to do with Roland. So.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, but it sounded like one of those excuses somebody was saying like as to why. But in my opinion, we need more black protagonists. So I'm all for it. I think that it's really cool. And I haven't watched anything where he's been like the focus of a movie. I've seen him in Thor, and I didn't even realize until
you didn't even like the Thor movies.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Thor movies.
No,
I feel like he was
Idris
cast
Elba.
based on his ability,
Yeah.
which is
Exactly.
I feel
Idris
like
Elba's
that's
a fantastic actor.
Yeah, I mean,
and
he's
I'm
Yes.
so
now.
pumped to have him be the gunslinger.
Exactly. Like he is known for being a fantastic actor. I think I'm excited for it, and I think he'll do a great job. And I'm happy that they decided to do that casting because it would frankly be wrong if they didn't cast people based on their ability. And we see that sometimes in movies, and it's not right. So good for them for doing it.
Yeah.
No, I am so pumped to have him be the gunslinger. He deserves it. If there is any one reason I think he shouldn't have it, I think he's a little bit young. But I mean, like even that, it's like I'm nitpicking at that point.
Yeah.
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 I am pumped. I think he's gonna be great.
Yeah. Yep.
He's in the running for Bond.
Yeah, I heard that him and Tom Hiddleston are two names that I hear a
God,
lot.
I do not want that to happen.
Tom Hiddleston, like I like Tom Hiddleston, but he's not a Bond.
He's too.
He's a Bond villain.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
too
I can see him as a really good Bond
That would
villain.
be hilarious if they casted him as the villain and Idris Elba as Bond, and like that's the movie.
I could see him being Bond or a Bond villain.
Yeah,
Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see him being Bond. I
He's
don't know
like,
or a Bond
didn't-
villain.
didn't-
I don't
know,
know the type of
like,
cast. I would like to see him audition for Bond. Like,
Yeah.
maybe he could really pull it off. Who knows?
Who knows?
You know who I want to see be Bond?
Is it
You.
me?
No. What's that guy? Kevin James.
Oh my god. With that, we're going to move on to our next topic. So, Ghostbusters. It just got its second trailer, along with, I guess, a sort of tagline to go with the title of the movie, and it was Answer the Call.
Yeah.
So, did everybody here see that second trailer?
Yes.
I heard about it. I didn't watch it.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Okay.
No.
I thought you did, but
No.
oh well. Alright, well, sorry, you're going to be a little...
I mean, and I think
It was really similar to the first trailer.
It was. There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of differences.
I think it kind of speaks for how I feel about it. I don't really care. And not because the whole controversy with the female letters need to be rebooted. I just don't really care about Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have an
You never really cared about the first ones.
Yeah, I don't have an attachment to it because I don't have that nostalgic like set to it.
Well, in a way though,
Yes.
do you think that would make you more susceptible to liking this one since you really don't have strongly formed feelings?
Possibly. I mean, I don't like Melissa McCarthy. I know that. So for her to be like the main character, like I'm not mega pumped
I
about
will
that.
say though, like she's not very Melissa McCarthy in
Which is
these
great.
trailers.
Like I'm willing
Like-
to give this a shot. And I'm glad I haven't seen it because it opened up this conversation. Like I'm happy to give it a shot. I'll go see it. I really have no strong opinions about this whatsoever, other than I don't like Melissa McCarthy. But if she's not Melissa McCarthy in it, that's fine. And like
She seems like she's playing like a straight character, like
and
a
she's
straight man. in
she's
it.
one of 4 characters in it, so like there's possibility I'll like the other ones.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm excited to give it the opportunity. I'm not excited about the movie,
Okay.
but I'm not mad about the movie either.
And so to recap kind of what's been going on with this movie for those of you who
I've been living under a rock.
hey.
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 Anyway, for those of you who have not heard about what's going on, the first Ghostbusters trailer is the most disliked video on YouTube right now,
I
ever.
don't necessarily know if it's most disliked, but it does have the biggest dislike to view ratio.
It's the most
Yes.
disliked trailer.
Oh, that's what it is. It's the
Yeah.
most disliked trailer. I'm sure there are videos that have much worse. But it's the most, especially like a major publisher, or not publisher, production
Yeah,
studio.
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to go for. My brain is just woo tonight. So yeah, and there's a lot of people who are saying that this has to do with the fact that it is all female cast, so there's a bit of misogyny afoot. And you know, who knows if that's wrong or right? It's just a theory that's out there. I don't know.
Opinions. Thomas and I
Opinions,
talked
yeah.
about it earlier
Something-
today.
we had an experiment
So-
earlier today.
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, Ghostbusters. Like honestly, like I'm excited for the cast, but like it doesn't look like a good movie.
That
I'm
is how I
sorry.
feel. Like
Yeah.
I love all 4 of the ladies that are in it and Chris Hemsworth. Like I'm very excited to
Right.
watch a movie with all of them together. Do I think it looks great? Not really. Am I gonna see it and enjoy it? Probably.
So what we did was we looked up a random, just not really random, but we thought of like the first other kind of kind of terrible-ish comedy that was around recently. We chose Pixels, and we looked it up, and it had like an overwhelmingly positive like like to dislike ratio. Like it was like over 95% likes.
That's disturbing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
I'm
I
sure
like that
people
movie,
like that
but-
movie, it's fine, but it's like they're pretty much the same movie when you get down to it. It's like not a super like
Like I get
Like,
the
that's
same
what a
cringe
comedy
factor
is.
when I watch both of them.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes
yeah,
complete
like that's what a
sense.
comedy is. If you enjoy it, more power to you. But like, you know, they're not that different movies when it really gets down to it. So I'm not saying that like sexism has anything to do with it or racism or whatever. But there's just some sort of weird kind of mob mentality going on with this movie.
Oh,
Yes,
definitely.
there is. There
Yeah.
really is. It's like a few YouTube reviewers got their hands on this and kind of smeared the name, and a lot of people have jumped onto it.
I'll say I kind of think it's the same thing as Batman versus Superman. Like I wasn't a
Yes.
fan of Batman versus Superman, but I definitely think there was a mob mentality.
Yeah,
When
it
came to
became cool to hate.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes.
and we've talked about how we were kind of displeased with it, but like we haven't straight up like destroyed it.
And I wasn't even like, there's no way I believe that movie is a 20% movie. That to me is just like ridiculous that people would say that, honestly. Maybe the lowest I could see it actually being ranked is like maybe a 60 something, you know what I mean? Because is it like, it's not the best quality movie, not even for a superhero movie. It's not the best quality movie.
Yeah.
I think that we're seeing this with Ghostbusters. I think that there are some really big downfalls to social media, to YouTube reviewers. You know, like I think that it's one of those situations where we're seeing certain movies where people do jump on that sort of mob mentality with them, and Ghostbusters is one of them. Definitely.
And it's like they fail before they even have a chance
Yes.
to fail or
Yeah,
succeed.
I really feel bad for the people,
Yeah.
the director, the writers, and the cast, because they are just from the get-go. As soon as this was announced, it was hate. It was just crapped on.
Yeah.
Well, and can you imagine being part of the cast and they're like, let's do Ghostbusters. It's going to be Melissa McCarthy, who's super successful right now, Leslie Jones, who's like really rising up in
Like,
SNL,
yes.
and Kate
actors
McKinnon.
were SNL
Kristen
veterans were
Wiig.
like legends. Like
Yeah, and Chris Hemsworth, and you're like, yeah, of course I'm going to do that, and it's Ghostbusters. And
Yeah.
now it's like, everyone's crapping on your movie, sorry.
let me ask you
I feel
guys,
bad.
do you think that the answer the call tagline that the movie has now is the way of like the studio to be like, all right, like we get that Ghostbusters is special to you guys, we're not trying to take that away. This is like a Ghostbusters film, but it isn't like taking the place of the old Ghostbusters.
That is actually exactly why I thought they did it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is to differentiate themselves slightly and to make people feel less offended, I guess would be the
Yeah.
word, by the fact that there is a new Ghostbusters movie. But that's one of the things that drives me the craziest, is people are saying that this movie will ruin the Ghostbusters movies before. No movie that comes out after a movie will ruin the movie before. Like, it's not like they are taking the movie, getting rid of every single cop. I don't think that's, no,
I
I
would
don't
argue
think
the
that's
Star Wars prequel trilogy kind of ruined parts
No,
of
it
the
does
original
not.
trilogy.
I disagree.
Movies do not ruin other movies.
Well-
Like, rebooting franchises does not ruin the original franchise.
We've talked about this personally, but like, if you think that a Ghostbusters sequel is going to ruin the previous Ghostbusters movie, that happened like decades ago with Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, that movie was not that good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Thomas
if
telling
you
it
like
like
it,
it is.
that's fine.
I-
but
See, I saw clips from the new trailer. I haven't seen the whole thing in its
Okay.
entirety. I'm interested that they're bringing back the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
They're also bringing back
They're not
Slimer.
Well,
They're
Yes.
not, it's the big ghost guy.
The what?
it's like
It's-
the Ghostbusters
like logo
mascot,
guy?
like giant.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's probably gonna, everyone's thinking it's probably gonna be a similar situation where they're like, what do you want to be your enemy? And somebody
Okay.
just thinks of that, and that's what it is.
okay, because it looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man to me.
I honestly didn't remember.
I'm sure it's
I
kind
know
of a callback
Slimer's
to
in there. I saw
that,
Slimer,
but-
but
Yeah, I mean Slimer's in there.
Yeah, it's definitely a callback to that, but it's not the same.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Yep.
I like the character design of Slimer. I always have.
I think, like, I've
I
heard a
think
lot of
Slimer's
people
cute.
complain about the ghosts. I think the ghosts look fine, personally.
I think the ghosts look fine because they look like the old ghosts. Like, they're not trying to make it scary. Like, it's...
They look goofy.
I think
And they
people
look
watched
goofy.
the original Ghostbusters and they were like children, like we were,
Yeah.
and we're kind of scared by it because, you know,
I
when
was
you're in
totally
that age, it's a
scared.
scary movie, and they see this now and they're like, Psh, it's not scary. Well,
Yeah,
you're an
because,
adult
yeah,
now.
it's
Like,
been 20-something years,
Yeah.
30 years.
So I think that's kind of part of it, but
Yeah. Overall, I think my reaction on this movie is I don't know if I'm gonna see it in theaters or not. I'm gonna see
Yeah.
how it goes, and like it might be one of those things I decide to go see it on a whim. But for right now, the type of comedy, it's just like not comedy I would really enjoy in any movie. It's just not necessarily my type. I think that it's a little over the top, and I'm not usually a huge fan of over the top comedy. Like
oh,
the
really?
whole,
I thought you liked Deadpool.
So yeah, for me, I don't like crude comedy. I don't like over the top comedy. I know I'm boring. So like the whole Leslie Jones, like I'm gonna slap the ghost. It was just like that made me cringe. Like my skin was just crawling. I was like, this is embarrassing
anything
for me.
Leslie Jones does will make me laugh because I've been watching her on Saturday Night Live religiously, and
I
I'm like a
like
fan
Leslie
girl.
Jones. I think that she the best like my type of delivery that I like from her though is like when she's on the Weekend Update and she just does the very blunt lines.
I love when she plays herself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
See,
good.
the thing about that I'm gonna slap the ghost out of you thing though is like that's appealing to like the widest market possible because it's a trailer.
I mean, they didn't make the movie for me.
Yeah,
So just because I don't like it doesn't mean anything.
What all I'm saying is like hopefully they like that is just an instance of humor.
Yes.
Made
But also-
essentially
Well,
for the
that's
trailer.
one thing that Kevin Feige mentioned was this trailer isn't indicative of the whole film. Don't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
basically in a statement. Which, in one way, I understand. You don't want your whole movie to be condensed down to 2 minutes. But in the other way, it's like, well, that's what trailers are for.
Yeah, make a
They're
better
trying to
trailer.
judge the movie.
Make a better trailer.
Yeah.
Just in general, make better trailers. Like,
Yeah.
stop giving everything away. I have
Looking at
I have
you,
a lot
Zack
of feelings
Snyder.
about it.
You know what a good trailer was? For The Revenant.
The Revenant had a good trailer.
We
It
wanted
had,
to
like,
watch
the-
it. We watched it last night.
We
It was
loved
great.
it.
I liked The Revenant because it had that breathing thing throughout the trailer. That was really cool.
It's throughout the whole movie, really. Like,
Yeah.
breath is used. We'll get into that in a different subject.
Another movie that had like a really cool trailer was Rogue One. I really liked the
Yeah.
siren.
The
I
siren
like the
gives me
sirens.
chills.
The siren was good.
It was like scary. Like,
Yeah.
Finishing up Ghostbusters,
Yes.
I'm going for the cast. I probably won't see it in theaters, but I'll watch it for the cast.
Yeah, we'll
and I'll be like, meh.
We'll probably rebox it at one point. Like I'll
Yeah.
watch it.
Maybe we'll have a review posted up on the site or something like that.
We'll
I don't
require
know.
us to go
We'll
see it in
see.
theaters.
Well, I
But
meant
we'll
like
make
when it
Taylor
comes
go
out.
see it in
Yeah,
theaters and make
Taylor
her
would
write a
love
review
it.
about it.
Maybe we'll
Taylor
do Halloween
loves
5.
things.
It's supposed to be spooky, right? She loves the
She
spooks.
loves spooky
Hey, Andrew, did you
stuff.
call them?
Who?
Who are you gonna call?
Ah!
I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I said like my response, I was like, oh, I'm walking into this.
You didn't walk right into that trap. All right, so are you guys ready to go to our 2-minute topics?
Yep.
Lightning
Okay.
round. All right, well, the storm has begun. Time to go. First topic, Harley Quinn solo film. Yeah, go ahead and start it.
Go.
So, Margot Robbie was doing an interview and she said that she is in talks to do a Harley Quinn solo film filled with all of the females from the Batman universe. DC, not really full DC, but just at least like
Yeah.
Batman stuff. Like
What's going on
Batgirl,
right now?
Birds of Prey, probably Poison Ivy, probably Catwoman.
I almost said Harley
I would
Quinn,
say
but I
most
was like,
definitely Poison Ivy.
Most
Yeah.
I
definitely
am totally a
Poison Ivy.
sucker for Poison Ivy.
we need a Gotham City Sirens movie.
And I think that's what this is
Quinn,
going to be.
Catwoman, Ivy.
Yeah. I honestly think that's what this is going to be. It might be a sort of, I think the worst thing they could do with it is kind of sucker punch it. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Like turn it into
Yeah.
sucker punch.
Exactly.
Don't
Speaking
do
of
that.
which, though, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so my thing with the Harley Quinn is this is like everything about it excites me, but this is a case of okay, come on. But like this is a case of like DC once again putting all its eggs into one basket
Yep.
way
Yes.
before time.
This
Yes.
is a
Suicide Squad.
bold
I
Because
didn't
the
even come
thing
out.
is, with Harley Quinn, is I am either really excited about this or really not excited.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
on how she is in Suicide Squad, if they make her a character like Deadpool, I'm off the wagon.
You don't say.
But if they do her more traditionally how she is in the comics, I'm for it. You know, so it's
Yeah, this is a bold move,
it's very
Oh, yeah.
bold.
and I don't know if it's gonna pay off.
I mean, she's just in talks.
And we already have people
Nothing's
complaining
confirmed.
about like, oh, they're making a whole movie with women in there, and like this is, you know,
Wow.
with guys, they wouldn't say, oh, this is a guy-filled movie, and people would be mad if they did. And I was like,
It's because you have to market a woman film movie because they don't
Right.
exist.
Yes.
It's not like Ghostbusters.
I was like,
movies.
I have a lot to
Even
say
if you
about
did
it, and I'm
market
keeping
that
it
way,
on.
people would notice it and bring it up.
Yeah.
Like,
solidarity sister.
I don't have the time to say what I want to.
Yeah, I think this is a bold move, and I think it could be a big mistake, but we'll see. I'm excited to see Suicide Squad.
You're gonna cut you off this time.
I knew it was happening.
Okay, so moving on to our next topic, Rogue One.
Again?
It had photos in it.
Ah,
New
right.
photos that surfaced.
Right.
Again? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and then I also want to touch on Star Wars Episode 8 might have had its title leaked. So, start. Okay, first things first, the title leak. The title is looking like it might be The Fall of the Resistance, which is interesting because it kind of follows the pattern from both the prequel series and this series, where it's like something awakens or a new hope or something's right, and then
The Phantom Menace.
like, oh yeah, I guess it's a little. But you know what? And then it's like the Empire Strikes Back or something bad happens. The main characters
Attack of the Clones.
they take a blow,
Yeah.
and so I don't know.
I mean, that's just storytelling. That's an arc.
Yeah, they're pretty classic.
I like the name a lot.
I like it too.
I think it's cool.
I like it because it
Looking to
puts fear into you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Looking to where it's going to go in the film, like, the Resistance was there in the first movie,
Yeah.
and then, like, supposedly the New Republic was destroyed. Like, they weren't really clear about
There's
the
a-
New Republic and the
Yeah.
Resistance. It was all really blurry. Hopefully they really
They
hammer that home before the Resistance supposedly falls.
We need a good episode 2 where like it explains like what's going on politically, but not the entire goddamn movie.
Yeah, like, we don't need trade negotiations. We don't need rabbit-eared, weird-talking Gungans.
Yeah.
Like,
But that is, I completely agree. We do need to enter a little bit of the political side, a little bit of
Just
what
a
is
little
going
bit.
on outside of
Yeah,
our
just
main
I
characters.
want just a general overview.
yeah, a lot
Yes.
of people don't even know the difference between the New Republic and the Resistance.
Yeah.
Like, it's really confusing in the movie. Like, if all you've watched is the movie, it's hard to tell.
You know what would be great? Maybe at the beginning of the movie they give us like this scrolling text that goes past the
I knew that's what you were
Just
gonna
something
say.
like that.
yeah, it like tells us what's going on in
As
the
opposed
world.
to, like, Luke Skywalker got lost and took a wrong turn, and now we don't know where he is.
He's somewhere in England.
Okay, new stills came out.
Yeah, oh, now we have
Yeah.
20 seconds to talk about that.
They look cool.
I didn't see them.
New rebel ship, the U-Wing, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's like backing up a Y-Wing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly, I'm excited for everything about Rogue One.
I'm excited for everything Star Wars.
I am too, and I think that we are cut off. Okay, so didn't get to touch on Rogue One enough, but look at the photos; they're really cool. So
You're cut off.
hey, I'm allowed to give a little recap, man.
This is her show.
Yeah, God.
Don't.
Anyway,
Feeding the beast.
next thing that we're going to talk about, and I'm really glad. Okay, so we're filming this a day early. We're filming this on Friday. Normally we film Saturday nights.
Somebody has a life.
Piece of news came out a few hours ago, and I'm glad that we waited until now because now we can include it. Thor Ragnarok just added Carl Urban, who he's been in a lot of things. Dredd is like
Star Trek.
Yeah, he's in Star Trek.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Duh.
Yeah,
No,
Wait,
he's not.
Air, yeah, that's right.
yeah. I really love him. in
You
Dredd.
just lost all your street cred.
Oh, shut up.
You have no street cred now. We need to put a meter for Andrew's street cred.
No,
Like
stop
Emily had
doing
that one time.
meters.
Yeah, always meters everywhere.
Meters everywhere.
Anyway,
Let's all have a different meter of something.
put a meter of, like, me just, like, not even doing it.
Jessica's emotions at movie theaters. Anyway, so Carl Urban, and then we also have Jeff Goldblum, who of course everybody knows from Jurassic Park. That's like his biggest.
I'm excited about that.
I still like kind of almost want one of those.
I like Jeff Goldblum.
Should I
has
take
been-
go?
Let's do it. Let's
Okay.
take go.
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum has been aging the best out of like any celebrity I've ever seen. Seriously.
Emily's all about that.
I am
Emily
all
and
about
I
Jeff
both
Goldblum.
have a celebrity crush on Jeff Goldblum.
No, Jeff Goldblum like is weirdly. I'm like about it.
Yeah.
Like,
You know.
I remember saw him for the first time in forever a few years ago, and I was like, "That's the Jurassic Park guy."
Yeah.
I was like, "What has happened?" Because I like it.
So I guess at least Goldblum is gonna play one of the realm elders.
Yes, the elders.
Because I guess about 75% of the movie takes place in the other 8 realms.
Yes.
And so we're not gonna see a whole lot of Earth this time. Thank God.
Yeah.
'Cause that means no Natalie Portman.
No, she's just leaving anyway.
No, she's just gone.
Good. She's bad in it.
I mean, I
You
love
know-
Natalie Portman. She's a cute girl. She's a
Yeah.
really good actress. She's not even a girl. She's a
character
woman. I
wasn't
feel like.
good.
No.
I
Her
like
character wasn't
Natalie
good.
Portman, but I do not like her in Thor. Sorry,
Yeah.
Natalie Portman, I love you.
Yeah, no, she's
Because I know you're
beautiful.
gonna watch
She's-
this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jeff Goldblum, Carl Urban will probably do the same thing. He's gonna play like an elder of one of the realms. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for more space.
me too. You know,
I think they do space really well in Thor.
they do. Yeah.
Well, they do space really well in everything. Like Guardians. Was
Guardians
good.
is good. We're about to see Doctor Strange, which is not quite space, but it's like a cosmic realm of
yeah.
some sort.
Captain Marvel is coming.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's gonna be coming. So we're gonna see a lot more than just Earth, New York, and California, where the Avengers are now, doing their thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to branch out from that. I think that Ragnarok's gonna be pretty cool.
It's supposed to be a game changer like Winter Soldier was.
Yeah, Winter
Where it's
Soldier was
supposed
a
to
huge
change the
game changer.
entire universe and how the universe moves forward. Kind of like how, spoilers for Winter Soldier,
As long as it's not Civil War, that
I'm
just
just
came
saying,
out, so.
it's probably because Hulk's time on Scar is going to lead to World War Hulk.
I would love a Hulk movie, a Planet Hulk movie, but
That would be ridiculous.
We'll never see it.
No.
Thanks, Universal.
Where's the tinfoil hat?
Thanks, Universal.
Cut off!
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be talking about is Star Trek is getting a new TV show.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's going to be coming to CBS, and we just saw the trailer for that and the new logo. So I guess, thoughts?
I don't care.
That's how I feel.
I'm not a Star Trek person. Unlike Thomas, I like the new movies. I'm curious if CBS is willing to dump the amount of money into it that's going to be needed for like special effects and stuff, because we're so used to having these nice special effects, especially with the movies out, that is it going to work on TV?
Yeah.
I think it's the interesting thing, because they can't really get away with practical effects like they used to.
And sci-fi can be very quickly become very campy.
Yep.
So that's a good question.
Yeah.
Thomas, what are your thoughts?
It's been a while since we've had like an actual Star Trek experience.
Yeah, it's been a long
like even though like, the Star Trek experience is some like thing, but there's been the movies which have been kind of like they've been okay. I like the first one.
Yeah.
Into Darkness was kind of rough,
Mm-hmm.
and the new one looks just kind of embarrassing. But
Yeah.
the TV shows are really, I think, where the heart of Star Trek is really at, and then they can branch into movies after that. So I wonder if that's going to be kind of their strategy.
And I know you were saying you thought the trailer was kind of Doctor Who-ish.
Yeah, it's this camera just kind of flying around through space, around the sun, around planets, around the moon. It's like, and it just gave me like, it was kind of like watching the Doctor Who intro song, and you know, you could probably put the song to that, and you would almost think it was Doctor Who.
That's funny.
So, again, I don't know if that's really Star Trek or if they're trying to copy other stuff. If it works, it works.
And it's interesting because, like, I almost wonder if there is going to be a sort of Doctor Who-esque revamping of it, because traditionally Doctor Who was always an older man who played the Doctor, and the companions were always younger. There was no sort of romantic interest in them usually. And it was very much like science, travel. Like it was very basic. And then you had the reboot with Eccleston.
Yep.
And it changed. The tone changed drastically. So before you cut me
Cut
off.
We'll see.
right.
We'll see where it goes.
We will see where that goes. All right, and last but not least, we have some DC news.
Yeah.
So, as we've said, probably I feel like every other show, Batman
since we've started.
Yes, since we've started,
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman didn't do so well. We've even said this earlier in this show. So DC, in order to remedy that, has decided to make Jeff Johns, who's currently the chief creative officer of DC Comics, and also kind of follows me on Twitter, no big deal. That's just my claim to fame.
He liked
right
one
now.
of her tweets this week.
He did like one of my tweets this week, yeah. And John Berg, who actually he's worked with Ben Affleck on a few different projects, one of them being Argo, have been promoted to basically being in charge of the direction of their cinematic universe, kind of kicking Zack Snyder a little bit into the back.
Well, they have also created.
Yeah, let's start.
They've also created an entirely new branch of Warner Brothers Pictures, where it's just like DC Pictures essentially. Like this is responsible for just the DC movies, so it's no longer like it's more focused.
It is.
Which is good.
That's what they needed. They needed a sort of Kevin Feige to take charge of the DC universe. And I think that Jeff Johns, which I don't know how he's doing this, because currently right now DC is going through Rebirth too. So they're redoing all of their comics, and he's in charge of the direction of that.
Well, he's only writing one book.
But I know he's only writing, but he's still the creative officer.
Yeah,
So he's overseeing everything.
Yeah.
So now he is overseeing all of the comic books and all of the movies.
And he was also responsible for the Arkham games too.
Yes. And
What an
and
easy guy.
Yeah.
He's like honestly one of the coolest dudes. I just don't know how he's doing it.
Yeah.
So
Overall, this is good news.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
One of
I mean, I don't know much about them, but I'm like, I was not impressed with Zack Snyder. Sorry, I know that you're watching this, Zack Snyder, of course. But let's change it up. Because the last one didn't work.
Yeah. I've talked with you guys about this. Like, for instance, in the Marvel movies, you've got Kenneth Branagh, who did the original Thor, the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, I liked his direction. I thought it was maybe one of the best parts of that movie, to be honest. But you don't want to have him take Joss Whedon's role and like kind of helming the series in the beginning with his bizarre, directing style. And I feel like Zach Braff,
Zack Snyder.
is kind of in the same vein there. And his style is just very too unique that no one else can really kind of build things in the same universe.
I just pictured like a sort of Garden State Batman versus Superman, and it was just horrible.
I mean,
like,
it's
it's
not
just
that
gonna be
far
like-
off.
Batman goes into the bathroom and the black matches the black of the wallpaper in the back.
This needed to happen, and it was only a matter of time. I've been on the show, been preaching for a while that they needed their own Kevin Feige, and Jeff Johns is the perfect man to do it. Like you said, I don't know how he's doing it, but.
And one of his quotes is, to end the show, he's going to bring hope and optimism.
Thank God.
Yep.
Cut off.
We're all cut off.
Alright, so that about wraps us up for this show. Any last words from you guys? That makes it sound like something bad's about to happen. But any final thoughts, I guess, is a better way.
It was nice knowing you.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
It was a good day.
It's a good weekend
It's a
news.
bright new day.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Do you want to do your little spiel?
Like, comment, subscribe, check us out on Facebook, and give us a like over there at Subtrendy. Subtrendy.com, we have daily news articles
We
and
post one news story a week.
we have weekly news articles and features written by all of us here. But Emily.
I don't.
And the other people that are off in faraway lands.
Yes.
So.
You were so good at that. In my last video, I just said we have a cool website.
I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Alright, guys. We have a cool website. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, good question. Am I supposed to be over here?
You are King Arthur.
You're red.
You're red.
You are.
Oh, I thought I was blue for some reason.
No.
What's this guy doing?
That's how it went.
That's.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
No, I'm black.
Oh.
Well, I put out the wrong little guy, but that's okay.
So I'm